It's time to take your place on the starting grid and get ready for Racer Radio. Your host, Dave Stahl, about to take you for a white-knuckled lap around the motorsports industry, covering everything from top-notch national drivers and crew chiefs right down to your local kid racers and racetracks. Watch for the apex, because here comes Racer Radio with Dave Stahl.
All right, folks, welcome to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. So we got Dirt Dude calling in.
Dirt
Dude.
What's up?
Kicking chickens. What are you up to?
Just working around the house today, listening to you guys.
You ever going to get that? Hey, you ever going to get that list done?
It's never done, Dave. You own a home.
You get one done, and they add two more, three more. You know, it gets added to the list. You know, so
yeah.
As long as you can just get on one piece of paper.
And I do have to throw this out there because I haven't heard anything, and I'm totally shocked that I've been 19 minutes and haven't gotten called out that I bought another radio.
I called you.
saw it, but hey, everyone's got a collection, and like my collection keeps growing. And
True,
stuff.
but just like 3 weeks ago, when he bought, this is 2 purchases ago, he says, I'm never buying another one. And since then, in the last 3 weeks, he's bought 2 more.
Oh, yeah, but this
But you told me, I'm not going to buy any more. And then bam, bam. As long as Michelle's okay with it.
She's so funny. She goes, honey, no.
Oh, she said no.
And then she said, let's go get it.
Ah!
And then she helped me load it. We took it home.
Well, they are
and she
pretty.
and she found us. Wasn't that last one,
Yes.
the ornate legs? Anyway, we digress.
We digress.
But I just
bring it back around.
Well, I wanted to put a smile on Brittany's face because this is a good thing to smile about. You should come over and wax it. That's an awesome idea.
That was a steering wheel to bring us back around.
Oh,
I wasn't
that's
waxing
even
on
better.
and waxing off. So we have a final race for a lot of people coming up next Saturday.
Should be a wild
Championship night for some of the divisions, right, Dirt Dude?
We have 2 more races left in our season, and then they've already started in Kokopah, and they're going to go out there and race during the winter season. So not sure if you want to call it. I called it Cocorona the other day, and they have got a chuckle out of that.
I like that.
Or Barona Paw. Barona Paw was what they were kind of working with because it's Barona and Kokopah, and then I went Cocorona for Kokopah Barona.
No, I
That
like
sounds too much like a virus.
No, Cocorona.
I was thinking too, but everyone's like, it's like a tropical drink, you know?
You know where my head's at. I thought it was a cocktail.
Oh.
Yeah. I said it's a
With a
tropical
lime.
drink.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
thinking of,
Someplace in
Cocorona.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do the nice. I can see the T-shirt now. So theoretically, then the actual season is going to be. There is none.
Yeah, I mean, there's no stopping.
Well,
there's no stopping.
Basically, we finished last race with the IMCA points, so
Right.
that's done. Now we're going to finish our Barona points this next weekend coming up. Which on the 2nd, we're going to feature the 360 410 sprint cars running wingless.
Yeah.
Southwest Lightning sprints, modifieds, sport mods, sport compacts, street stocks, pure stocks, and dwarf cars. Not in that running order, but that's just what's going to be there. Thursday, we will release the pit notes, which will bring out the running order, and I won't know until Thursday what the order is going to be. And then they also do all our pit notes, what time we're starting, what time everything is kind of going to happen from opening to closing. And then the next race on the 2nd, we're going to feature the 360 Arizona wing sprint cars, which have not been, they've never raced in California, a winged sprint car down here in Southern California, San Diego area. We've never had a winged sprint car there. They've always been wingless. So
Right, that's
should be interesting.
A distinction between October 2nd and October 16th is the 2nd, it's wingless. And on the 16th, it has wings. And I see on the 2nd, they said they have here 360 /410. So they're running same time again. Like they'll be out on the track at the same time.
It's the same sprint car. One's running, you can opt to run a 410 motor or the 360 motor. They just ran in Paris last night, and I don't know if you saw Scott's post. Just a pile of dirt with an oil slick on top of it. It goes sad news for someone with a 410 that blew it up last night.
Oh, that's not cheap.
That's not cheap.
That just, yeah. You lose a motor on one of them things there. That's expensive.
It's not boat racing.
On the 16th, with the Arizona Wing Sprint cars, the 360 Wing Sprint cars, we're also having the Sport Mods, Street Stocks, and Pure Stocks. So there's going to be some more classes there other than the 360 Wing Sprints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like a...
Hey, speaking of championships and blowing up motors, apparently David Hunt.
Yes.
So, Dirt Dude, you probably know this better than I do. So David Hunt has won in 2 divisions this year, correct?
He is
Sport Compact.
He's the Verona Championship for Sport Compact, and he's also the state championship for Sport Compact.
And then I think he was going to try for a 3rd. He blew up a motor yesterday, so I said, hey, buddy, sorry. And he's like, oh, no, I have a backup car. So he's racing right now at Coco Paw, too.
I thought you were going to say...
He's currently running for points championship at Coco Paw, too.
Right, yes. Okay.
And he could actually run for a state champion in Arizona, too, but I'm not sure if he can get that many points. But... they're going to go through the winter now, so he's just starting to build these points. Points now.
Yeah.
So now he's got a winter.
You don't want to miss out on anything because that's how he made this year.
So he's got a winter car and he's got a summer car.
He's so hooked. And then,
basically, if you really want to know the difference, he has a quarter-mile car and a half-mile car.
Because Coco Paw's the half-mile and Verona's the quarter-mile. Yeah, he's just
said
hooked,
they're totally different too.
Yeah.
So he blew up the quarter-mile car, but he's got the half-mile car.
He blew up one of them. I don't know because I was like, oh, sorry to see that.
Or did he blow up the half-mile car?
I think he did. The car he's been running at Verona was the one he took up there.
So that's
probably the quarter-mile. But he said that car, one of his cars, when he went to Ventura, did not like it. And I think that's his big track car. That was because it really couldn't get up and go because it's such a small track, which might be the white one he's running now. I'm not sure which one he blew up.
I can't keep track.
How many cars does he have?
292. He's got 2 Pure Stock or 2 Sport Compacts and a Pure Stock, and I think he's got another one. And I'm sure he's got a whole inventory of cars, too.
I love it because he just always has a good time. Like he does. He just always has a good time. He loves racing.
He is competitive. You can't take away that. He's trying to win 37 championships in a day, for God's sake. So he's got the competitive spirit. He's having fun with it.
Yeah, he is.
I got to give him props, though, because he's doing all this on a budget, and he's not he's not breaking into these modifieds. Modifieds, you're crying when you lose a motor. You're traveling with a modified, and it's a lot of money. Sport Compacts and Pure Stocks, he's he actually rebuilt the whole front clip on his car once already because it got bent.
Sure.
I'm sure he's probably going to be shopping for another Pure Stock in the off season if he can pick one up at a good deal.
Absolutely.
But he's doing racing budget and living NASCAR life.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But that's an excellent way to put it. And it's almost like I used to I think I've told you this story 100 times. Out of Cajon Speedway, had my go-kart, KT 100, motor running until the cows come in. And a buddy of mine was racing out there, and he had a Sportsman, had the wheels off, had the tranny dropped, had the plugs out of it. And I go, what are you doing? He said, I'm getting ready. So I'm going to go out and practice. We're changing the rear gear. I said, okay, well, I'm going out ahead of you, so I got to go get ready. He says, what do you got to do? I said, I got to put oil in the clutch. I got to check the tire pressure. Oh, yeah, I got to go to the bathroom. And
so much.
But, stop and think about it. And I had more fun than he had in that Sportsman because he wadded it up in turn 1. So he's out another 50, 60 grand, and I won my race. And so, I don't know. It's all about the adrenaline. Don't you agree?
Yeah,
priceless.
Yeah, but a lot of people, it's like the class that they want to move up to.
I know. There's some prestige. Class. There's prestige in there. I get it. I totally get it. But see, that was my way of convincing myself I only had a go-kart budget. Okay, that's basically what the whole story.
Live within your means.
And I had a ton. I still got my trophies. I look at them every day.
Do you?
That's what this whole Sport Compact thing is, too. It's like your go-kart budget.
Yeah, exactly.
You can run that thing for the rest of your time if you want, if you're having fun. Yeah. Or if you want to step up and, move up to the Sport Mod, or street stock, anything like that.
And you could sell advertising even in that division.
Oh, yeah.
And not have to pay a dime. Well, why are you holding two fingers?
Because I have two things I want to say when you two are done.
Done jabbering. Okay.
Oh, no, I just noticed here, non-wing sprint cars, $2,000 to win.
You going to go buy one now?
Oh, no. But I just want to point that out. That's a nice, pretty penny there.
Little packet.
Yeah.
For which night? Which weekend
on
was that?
the 2nd, this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be nice.
Okay.
Which
And
go ahead.
I think they're going to have another person there too. And I know that they're trying to get a good purse together for the 360 winged Arizona sprint cars. And every race they're trying to put together a good purse for one of the groups to try and get incentive for people to show up.
Yes, as drivers. And for the spectators, 5 o'clock starts the race, correct? The racing.
Are you going to have your dwarf car there next weekend?
That's the plan.
Sam?
That is the
last
plan.
one for the year.
Yeah.
You get your fix in for the season.
The fix-in, yeah. I did not get enough under my belt, but it
are
is
we
what it
competing
is.
with anything? Because right now, are they at Marysville or something like that this weekend?
This weekend wrapped up the nationals for the dwarf cars.
Yeah,
I think
wondered about that.
our boy brought home first in the nation, but it's not confirmed. Or I would have talked about it at length by now.
Oh, yeah? Who could that possibly
Was it that close or something?
Well, because he went in with the top points, but it looked from Facebook that he had a rough time. Things might not have gone exactly as planned. But he may have gone in with enough of a lead.
So we will see.
So we'll see, yeah. But
and for the people that are not privy to your private conversation, who are we talking about?
Number 11, Darren Brown.
Oh,
the fastest
Mr.
kid in a
Brown.
dwarf car in the nation.
Now, you had a perfect opportunity to make that rhyme. Darren Brown, the fastest man in town.
Oh, yeah. Well, they call him Downtown Brown or Uptown Darren Brown or something. They started calling him that on Flow Nation
you're
or something.
ruining him. You're ruining
Flow
the kid's
Racing.
reputation. But
I did that a while ago.
Did you already?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. So shit, we say it all the time. If you haven't been to Verona, now's the time to do it.
Yes, please.
Next
Get
Saturday,
out there.
come on out. Look for
Don't
37
wait till the end of the
dwarf
year.
car. She'll be in the lead. Right. With her, have you tested your power steering?
No, hey, I'm glad you said that. It's still practice on the 1st, correct, Dirt Dude?
I
I
thought
saw
you
that somewhere.
There is open practice on the 1st,
Yes,
yes.
so I'll be there on the
Okay, 'cause
1st.
she has
First,
to
I'll be there on the 1st.
First, she'll be the first. All right. All right. Well, then that sounds like you can take a break. By the way, no one's calling in from
Paris?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, do you want to keep this guy, or we got stuff to talk
I don't
about?
know. He's got to get through that list of his.
What list? Oh, that's right.
Honeydew list.
All right. So you're going to go back to mowing?
I didn't mow today, probably next weekend, but I finally listed my bike parts for sale.
Oh.
Oh. Let's see what you get. Anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Talk at you next week.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye. I'll see you next weekend.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. This is Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
All right. Welcome back to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
Scott is he's at a go-kart race.
He's at
He's
one.
calling it.
Oh,
Calling
where?
all the action.
Where?
I didn't even think that.
Dirt, asphalt, do we know?
I don't really know. Probably dirt. How many asphalt tracks are around
I
anymore?
have no idea. Dave.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, I know. It's really crazy. So
Hey.
I did a I did a crazy thing last week. I don't know if it's going to pay off, but tried to get Britney and I invited to the Porsche driving experience.
I call that an excellent. I wouldn't say crazy. I would say well executed.
You want to learn how to drive.
I would love. I'm the person that had the Porsche
Oh, did you?
posters.
On the wall?
Growing up, I had
what was your favorite?
911 SC. I love.
You like the
just-
911s?
I just love those. Is there a 969?
Yeah,
That's more the racing one. Yeah. I really like those too. But just I'm a girl that I'm simple.
Well,
I want a 911 SC. That's all I'm asking for.
So you'll love this. In 1978, my general manager at the car dealership had a kind of a limey, real light, like mist green 911 Turbo S. And I just lost it,
What do you mean lost it?
I
please?
fell in love with it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sitting there, and then I had to drive from here to Napa for a wedding. So I walk over to the boss and I says, "Any chance I can borrow the 911?"
Move. Oh, what did he say?
He says, "Get it tuned, put a clutch in it, and you can have it for the weekend." I said, "Sweet." So I did everything, charged it to the dealership. I charged the clutch. I charged the tune-up.
Is that what he meant?
I don't know how he just said take care of it. And I said, okay, and I did. I still work there, so I guess it worked out.
Oh.
So, and I had it done by a Dieter's, which is pretty amazing. So then I drove it from here to Napa in 7 hours and came back in 6.5. And most people do it in 10 and 12 and 13.
Awesome.
But I'd pull into the gas station, wouldn't even shut the engine off. Get out,
oh my
fuel
gosh.
it, wash the windshield.
This was just a race against yourself, against the clock.
Unfortunately, I totally forgot that my ex-wife was sitting next to me the whole time. I swear, I did not say.
You were in the zone.
I did not. I can't
hilarious.
tell you how fast I went down I-5 in Bakersfield. So let me quickly end the story. So I bring it back, throw the keys to the sales manager, and I'm just about 4.5 feet off the floor.
Yes.
He goes home that night. Next morning, he calls me screaming on the PA system. "Mr. Dave Stahl, come to my office immediately."
Oh, I hope he was impressed.
So I go walking in. I go, "Hey, man, what's up? What'd you do to my car?" I go, "What do you mean, what did I do to your car? I want to know right now what you did to it." All right. So I told him all the stuff I did to it. He says, "Well, I take the same exit every single day when I go home to work." I darn near spun out. This thing was so fast. He says, and then it overcorrected when I jumped on the brakes because it's never braked that well. Well, I put racing pads on the car since I'm driving as far as I was driving. And I thought he was going to give me a pay raise. He says, "Who worked on this car?
Okay.
Who worked on this car?"
Happy.
And I shouldn't even say this on air, but he took all the smog off, plugged it off, and clamped it. So this was a full-blown turbo.
Dreamy.
Yeah, just totally.
I've got something I shouldn't say on air about a Porsche as well. Shall I?
Sure, why not?
So, if my parents are listening, which they do often,
do they know
they're
this
thinking,
story?
"Oh yeah, they're a part of it."
They always are.
So, as it's true, I had a Porsche poster or 2 or 3 or 7 next to my horse collection. That's just like the balance of myself. But anywho, 8th grade. Salutatorian, story of my life. I always get second place.
Yeah.
So to celebrate, to acknowledge, my parents rented a Porsche. I believe it was a convertible. It was silver. I think it was a convertible 911 for 24 hours. You know how you can rent them. So to celebrate and recognize my accomplishment of being second in class out of, I don't know, maybe 80, 75 kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pepper Drive, 8th grade.
How old were you?
8th grade. This is important.
So
I'm glad you asked
drive
that.
the car. Oh.
Why I mentioned I probably shouldn't say it on air. No, so my dad got in the driver's seat. Yeah, I got in the passenger seat.
Sure.
And we took the 8 East, and once we got to the mountains, he pulled over. "Why are you pulling over, Dad? What's up? What's wrong?"
Slid the seat up, and the rest is history.
With your imagination.
Yeah.
I knew how to drive a stick. I started riding a motorcycle when I was teeny weeny, and
who would not think that?
And out in the desert, I drive the El Camino and stuff. So
this is all your dad's fault.
Well, Mom and Dad both raced. Mom and Dad have.
Oh, so then you have the genes.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself if I wanted to.
Did you have fun?
I had so much fun. There's even more I won't. I'll stop with the air talk on this, but super fun. I remember we did go back and pick up my friend Matthew. He loved Porsches too. I think we might have planned on spending the night in it in the front in the parking, the driveway.
Because you did rent it for 24
hours. Yes.
And it probably wasn't cheap.
No, and my dad was working hard. And,
money doesn't grow on trees.
No, it does not.
But that grin that ended up on your face,
it's priceless.
Priceless. Yeah.
I think about that all the time. One of my many memories with.
I told you I did that with a little kid in the McLaren.
No.
So I take the wife up to Descanso for breakfast. We all, the 4 out of us, need to go there. It's a really cool place. It's like stagecoach stop from the 1700s, turned into a restaurant. They have a downstairs barbecue area. Maybe Steve could even bring the band because they do music and everything. It's really a fun place. But anyway, so we go in there for breakfast. I come walking out. And by the way, this is a 2021 McLaren GT.
I'm going to look it up.
615 horsepower.
Oh, that's all?
That's it. It's a wimp.
What, red? What?
It was red with a black. I can show you a photo. So I go in, we have breakfast. We come out, and here's this little 8-9-year-old, and he is literally drooling all over this car. And his dad's showing him things and telling him this is what this is and this is what that is. And the kid's just enthralled with everything his dad is saying. So I told him, I says, well, hey, you want to go for I asked his dad, I says, can I take him for
in it?
Yeah, I says, can I take him for a ride? And the kid, literally, he looked at his dad, and all you could hear in this kid's mind without him speaking a word,
hear in his mind.
I'll clean my room, I'll cut the grass, I'll wash the car, I'll do whatever you want, Dad. Please let me go with this guy. Please. So I hopped him in the car, and we went briskly up to 79 for about, I don't know, a couple miles.
Well, yeah, you have to go briskly, just, really so he can.
And then I had to show him the superb braking and doing a U-turn, and came back just as quickly to the point where when we stopped, his dad jumped off got out because he thought we were going to run over him.
Oh, jeez.
But I wanted to come in, with
hot.
This kid, so he's already posted it on Instagram, and it'll be just like you. As old as you get, you're still going to always want a Porsche 911.
Yeah.
And it'll happen.
Yeah. It could.
Stranger things.
I'm really happy with my Mustang, or else maybe
I think you should paint your dwarf car like a Porsche 911.
Okay. I'll write that down here. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, it's written down.
Yeah, I know. Hey, we by the way, you and I have got another 15 after this.
I got a question for you when we come back.
No, we ain't going anywhere yet. Look at the clock. See?
Well, it's so funny. Mom is listening. She's all, tell him you used to work at Descanso Junction. That's where he's talking about. Oh, yeah, I was a waitress.
Were you really?
That's why I'm a good tipper, because I know how hard of a job that is. I was a waitress. By the owner, I was considered a really good waitress.
I can see where you would be a good waitress.
But I know I was not that good.
Why? Okay.
Because here's an example that I shouldn't say on air. So I would try to talk people out of a milkshake because sometimes you're the only waitress. It's packed. I have 50 customers. I don't want to do the hand-packed, hard ice cream packing, putting it in, blending. That it didn't just come out soft serve. I would be like, the Coca-Cola's free refills. I mean, the milkshake's great, but I'll just keep refilling that Coca-Cola if you'd like.
You are so good.
It's a hard job. And then my little guns here, little guns right here, I can only bring out 2 plates at a time. And
you couldn't do the 12 plates?
No, I wouldn't even dream of. If I did a third one, it would go over for sure. I'd be like, not that I wanted to throw the plates, but by the time they got there, my arms are giving out. I'm like, here you go.
Yeah, pick whichever one you want. But I love to pick whichever one you want. That's
yes, exactly. I like that too. It's all slid over to one side of the plate. Now, the boss was happy with me. Here's why I got hired, or here's why he loved me, is if someone would order French fries on the side, while I was waiting for the order, I would put ketchup and mustard and the condiments before they would ask. He thought that was genius. I'm duh, but
it's called service.
Yeah, so I was an okay, but I guess.
But how are you on the out world when you're dealing with other servers?
How am I compared to
judge?
them?
No, do you just judge them?
I'm very appreciative. I can't tell you how many times I've asked the waitress. Actually, now I'm talking about the cooks and the chefs, but I always ask them to say, hey, tell him he knows how to poach an egg. Because every other egg that comes out is terrible.
I do the same
But
thing.
I'm very appreciative. I love great service because you don't always get it.
I had my little story. I was a celebrity bartender at Hooley's.
Really?
Yeah, back in, I don't know how far back. I can't remember what it was for. And I'd never done it before, So but I've always been a pretty good tipper. So I get a job, and I work with Mark Bailey. The Padre announcer. Well, I'm going from 6 to 10. I'm hooked with another waiter because they know better.
Yeah, right.
Mark sat at the bar and ate and drank while I'm running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
And it's harder than you think, huh?
Lord have mercy. Yeah. And the one slight error I made, and I
was taking a sip out of everybody's cup before. Oh, okay.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, when I tell you what I did, you're going to die. Right here on Racer Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
Racer Radio, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The answer.
All right. Well, this is Racer Radio, and if you'll notice in the last segment, we had a tendency to drift.
Well, drifting's part of racing.
But
right?
You know, well, yeah. I like the way you think. Uh-huh. But you texted me yesterday because I had not seen it yet.
Oh.
No. And you mentioned Sheldon Creed. So for some reason, I didn't want to watch the whole race because I had something else to do. So I fast forward till I got to it. And what's your opinion? If folks, if you hadn't seen it,
so hard.
Sheldon rear-ended another competitor.
Hard.
He was not on the brakes.
Well, he even said in that interview.
See, I missed that part.
Oh, was
he on the brakes?
No, he was looking. I mean, you can't see everything all at once.
Well, it was smoke too.
And his interview, he was looking at, I think he said the wall, but two other drivers. He was intentionally looking at another driver, trying to avoid that driver.
And
then there was a second one in his peripheral, and I believe he mentioned the wall, and then there was that fourth obstacle.
Well, the fourth obstacle came to him.
Oh, and it came to him. Yeah, it was such a high impact, like the speed of that impact.
Well, I don't think, did he mention if he was braking or not? Or
He was probably off the gas but not braking. That's my guess. He didn't say it.
Okay, if he was off the gas, you correct me if I'm wrong, he was off the gas like that. Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh.
He knew something was
happening. There's no reaction. It wasn't like he was coasting into it.
It was so hard.
And it grenaded two trucks, made a cab out of one, and I mean the fire was. And boy,
and the fire.
You think that boy's pretty good at getting out of a hot car?
My goodness! So I'm kind of like holding my breath, and I waiting for an interview with him, like waiting.
I was too.
They did. Well, first they did an interview. I wish I knew the gentleman's name.
The one he hit.
It might have been. Let me just say, it was not Sheldon's fault. Like,
no.
I hope no blame goes on him.
No.
He was truly trying to avoid obstacles.
Right.
Just can't see everything at one time.
Right.
So they did the interview. The first interview right after that, that kid was so agitated. You could see it written all over his face.
Well, he was the one that got hit.
And I think he's in the run-in for something. Like, it really messed up these. Yeah, like
championship.
He was really trying to swallow his anger. But then they did an interview of Sheldon, and my first thought and feeling was, okay, he's okay, like physically.
Well, that's the main thing.
He's okay. I wanted, I didn't know if his arms or hands got wrapped in the steering wheel or something.
He got wrapped up.
Yeah, or just the impact or a concussion. He seemed fine, and then he was so pleasant. I don't know. He's getting so much better at his interviews. He really is, Dave. I was so happy for him. I was so happy because he was healthy. And then he just did a really good job, and he emphasized how important the next race is. And he explained.
Did he say how sorry he was of crashing into the guy? But it wasn't.
I don't recall that. I mean, I'm sure he is. But he explained how he mentioned somebody. I don't know if it was Haley Deegan or it was like he said, I was making sure not to. Yeah, I was making sure not to hit her, I think is what I heard.
Right.
I was in the middle of doing something, and that thing just kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And so I stopped for a second, but he's like, I was trying not to. And the wall, and then bam.
That might even affect his championship.
And that's such a bummer because
he was
doing so well,
close.
and he was so classy afterwards.
That's awesome.
And that's why I was like, "Did you see?" I didn't want to get it away.
Yeah.
That's why I asked. It didn't tell. So
well, and I can't, and I hate, this is a great racing radio show when you can't remember the guys that won, but the guy that won, it's Perry.
Okay.
The guy that won the truck race, first time he ever won.
Oh, yeah. It was somebody's first. Like I said, I was in the middle
of
doing a million things.
And I think it was an Earnhardt car, if I'm not mistaken. So,
well,
and he was almost in tears.
Yes.
Because he was on another team, didn't make it. I think it was Kyle Busch's team, didn't make it, ended up, and this was a part-time ride. This wasn't even a full-time ride. So
Speaking of tears, I was watching drag racing and saw John Force. Sorry, I always think of John when
Would Johnny do this stuff?
Well, just no.
Oh, you did it again?
No, what? I just said I was thinking of John Force.
Oh, I thought you knew something about John
I'm not
Force.
going to tell you.
You do know something.
I do know. I watched it up until I came here today.
Yeah, I got it taped.
He's just funny. There's I'm really happy for the winner. Like, really happy for the person who won.
Yeah.
And I had just so many thoughts were going through when I was watching the drag racing today, because is there another sport where males and females have that even of a playing field? Because I'm thinking of Leah, Courtney, Britney.
Then you've got Erica Enders.
Yeah, Erica Enders. Great. It's funny, listeners, that he just mentioned Erica Enders. Isn't that funny if any of you have watched the races that he just mentioned Erica?
That's my girl.
And I thought her because she got out of the car and and you would ask Leah, why after just 10 seconds are you
adrenaline
and all the emotion. There's so much emotion.
Yeah.
But
and Angel Sampé on the bikes.
Back to drag racing. I know I'm throwing this.
No, that's drag racing.
Oh, on the bike drag.
Sorry.
Is there another sport where there are that, even circle track? It doesn't even seem as equivalent.
No.
Drag race seems to be, to me,
because drag racing
the most.
Well, it is. It is. And the only other thing would be maybe land speed racing.
Okay.
Bonneville.
Yeah.
But see, drag racing takes the sex out of it.
I think it does. You go ahead, and I'll tell you why I agree.
I only say it because it's 3 to 4 seconds. There's no room to become emotional. I mean, you could be emotional beforehand or after, but when you put the pedal to the metal within 3 to 4 seconds, you're two controllers.
Right. Okay.
There's no room for emotion.
So listeners, we didn't plan on even having this discussion. So everything we're saying is kind of off the top of our head. But what I was also thinking is, like, because of all the other sports and now with the trans and all that sort of stuff, I think, and I have a biology degree, I know that physically there is a difference. Bone density, muscle mass, the estrogen versus the testosterone, huge difference. When it comes to drag race, I'm just throwing this out here. I'm just thinking about this off the top of my head. Is drag more mental than... It's so much mental.
It's mental until you push down the pedal.
But that pedal doesn't take muscle mass, bone density.
Yes, it does, because you have a G-force that's worse than taking off of an air. But here's the deal. This is why I say the male and female, there's no true... I don't feel, I'm not a doctor, but my grandfather wanted me to be one. That's why my first two initials are DR. He said I could save money on a sign. But that's another story.
Oh, my goodness.
But when you're sitting, you and I, we're both totally different. I'm heavier, you're lighter. But in that 3 to 4 seconds, you're just along for the ride. You are to only react in 3 to 4 seconds, and then you're going over 300 miles an hour. So, and there's nothing on the planet that compares to that, as far as I can see. Not now when you talk Verona. How long do your races? 3-4 minutes, maybe sometimes 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes,
depending on
if
situation. There was no wrecks.
But I'm saying and if you're out there with boys and girls, and somebody bangs into you or somebody cuts you off, well, now you have an opportunity to be a girl, or you have an opportunity to be a guy. You may get mad, you may not get mad, you might feel bad. But in drag racing, you only have 3 to 4 seconds.
Okay, so the point you're making is just that tiny time window,
which is what the race is.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because everybody has prep. You could have a bad day. You eat bananas before you go out. You know what I'm saying?
Mechanical.
So if you're looking at the actual sport of drag racing, the actual entity, which is 3 to 4 seconds.
Oh, so my angle was just
yours was
that
the
it's
whole
less
package.
Physical. There's less of a physical need and more of a mental. Like football.
No,
lots
I get you.
Of physical and some mental.
And the proof to it is that we don't need that. Is we have girls and guys winning championships
at the same level. That's why
you.
I was bringing that up.
Yeah.
It's like really the women are really sincerely holding their own against the men
and
at
above.
the same stage. There's
And
no
above.
different, like, there's a women's soccer league and there's a men's soccer league.
it
They're
does-
not the same.
The sex has been removed.
Yeah.
You're two masses with personalities and cuteness, and one's going to win and one's going to lose. And you couldn't get any more barbaric.
Oh, well, which causes lots of tears as well today. If you go back and watch it, the fact that it's done in a second and they don't have a chance to
You can't,
like
no
make
redo.
up. I'm eliminated.
No redo.
One of the racers even says that. I'm going to be thinking about this for the next 2 weeks. I didn't get another lap.
See?
It's done.
It's all it takes.
Yeah,
That's
he was
why you
bummed.
don't drag race. Hey, well, this has been fun, as it always is. Hope you have a wonderful afternoon, sunshine.
You too. Have fun on your next show.
I will. Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.